Are you guys with me, baby? Give me one more chance. Yeah. Hey, hey, what's up with you? I won't lie to you. I know he's just not right for you. And you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I see it. I can see it in you too. Trouble.
Trouble.
Daddy, I knew you were trouble.
When your question is actually a bunch of questions. When's the best time this weekend to hook a backyard barbecue? And what's something impressive I can grill and I don't have to stand right next to it the whole time? Just ask Google.
But I knew you was trouble. You know what? Then why you fuck with me? You know why you fuck with me? You gotta come and fuck with me. Yeah, I got you in trouble.
With the Chase mobile app, things move a little more smoothly. Deposit checks easily and send money quickly. That's convenience with Chase. Hey, I've been waiting for you. Do you have good news? I do.
Somebody say, oh, hell. And you never like anything. Serbian. Okay. Okay. Without no. No, why you keep fucking with me then? No, I'm just fucking with you, daddy. You ain't no trouble. Y'all heard that. Why you fucking with me ain't no trouble.
He ain't no trouble, yeah.
Hush. Hush. Yeah, shit. Hold up.
I was say, goddamn, that shit serious. I said, I know he was playing. Yeah, I just like, that nigga nowhere near trouble.
I know I ain't. Man, I'll tell her that. What you told me you didn't know for? I'll tell her that.
Right. You got a point, like, why fucking, you know what I'm saying? I know.
Love her for me. Love her.
Oh, shit, I keep on thinking these. Yeah, I gotta go up there.
That's long way here. Yeah.
Nigga, rain. Let me run from these spoiled me. I think I better get this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. But fuck that. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, sweet. Yeah. I did that.
God damn.
Yeah, kill.
It is. And I gotta kill that thing for the complete the justice.
Damn monster.
Oh, it is. It is.
can't believe nobody gave me something right
And I was in the middle of the match. I was just got in the middle of that. Well, I said I just got in the middle of the match. I thought that guy. So,
Wow.
yeah, so
Not in my fault.
I was in the middle of a match.
Oh, shit, about that.
Just called me before I started the match. That would be good. I'm like, listen,
What's happening, Mother Mike? Over 10 weeks. Yeah, I don't let you think that, bro. You delusional, bro. Yeah, I don't let you think that delusional person. You keep on thinking that, man. I mean, you talking about the anime, yeah, that not the, that's not the real Superman. That's a knockoff Superman. Yeah, Goku can be a nigga like that. They ain't the real one. That's a nigga who playing with Superman. Yeah, Goku beating a version of Superman ain't him. That don't count for Goku. Sorry, buddy boy, it don't count for Goku. Now you use Superman to completely strongest, then Goku get demolished.
I still been all day. I can get to sleep.
Wait, what is my? Could be some man. No, I got no shit.
call his name and shit. I'm like, yeah, she's sleep. So it wasn't no point to leave the cat. It wasn't no point to be on the phone. Why you sleep and shit? It went up in
Like, hold on, why was my shit?
So I heard news. Got the news so many times. So many times I kept calling you. I'm like, yeah, she's sleeping. She's sleeping.
Damn, bitch, do your technique on them. You gotta do your technique on these bitches. Like, you ain't doing none of your technique on them. Ah, man, I hate this. It's gonna be hard to help her. Oh, God. Hold on. You can reach. Oh, can you really reach your technical test?
Oh my God, thank you for letting me in your hands. Without your help, I could not have defeated that quartet. I feel as if I've been in the dirt from beginning to end. Thank you. With your help, I was able to live as my own person. If only in person.
What up, little Mike? What up with you, my boy? What's going on? What's going on, my boy? What's going on with you?
Even tell you. I took that from myself. Tell whoever put you up to this, as if I am to flower into something new. Other than myself, I would rather melt into nothingness as I am. Please, let me pass on. The scarlet rot rides now, waxing on, uncursed.
That's all right. Yeah, I think her course got completed. I think her course got completed. Mm,
What's the sun go down right now? It's just very
so yeah, I'm on mine. That's
It's
I'm on
nice.
mine now.
I'm sweating and shit, man, hot and shit. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
it's your hand, you ouch. I can help. So,
Oh, one go with the pistol.
This is a step-by-step guide on how to prayer celebrates. This is where Melissa will be waiting. Chapel first, she reveals some more info about her journey, and now it's time to move to the final part of the quest. Step 6 is a painful short way through the hollow tree into the roots of the drainage channel side grace. Once you get here, look out the way you came in. Following that path up the still, spin around and cross over this tree to the left. Now, what you're thinking, but not good lucky for that item. Just edge closely towards them until everything starts to shoot, and then right when the item is chilling, observated tree spirit will shoot out of the ground. You can unlock this guy, and if you're usually a strength depth spirit, and you can use the fighting up close, you're going to want to look pro. If you're already a magic user, you're in. So just follow that path up this hill, it's the tree spirit, unreachable. Now just shoot at him until he goes out in easy steps. Step 7. Now, the final step, you have two different sun sides on the ground in front of you. The gold one is the side with medicine, which will get you lots of rings, so you can save your house. There's greatly boosts the power of successful cats, and with the red sun side, you get you medicines from stasis house, which boosts dex and attack power of successful cats. Whichever you choose, you'll be able to get the flux out this house from the gallery much more. So make your choice and start from. Side note here, if you choose to help with medicine, after the fight should be on the ground over here, don't do what many players have done and jump off the cliff onto them. Because this will hurt and ruin the quest. Now you've done the quest line and over to Gallery Shack, you'll be crying. Now just beat it up so you can get the flux counters talisman for an 8% boost to your incantation damage. Now if you want to learn more about medicine and all the other crazy stuff going on in Elden
you say yeah.
Go cook me some soup right quick, Roman family. Let my gang rest.
What are you talking about? No, I'm saying, yes, please show me the video and send me the video. I'll try to do it.
Hey, you don't got no ice yet?
Why not? Why not, baby? Why not, baby? Tell me why not, baby? Is it some nasty video? Or damn sure. Watch it.
You went, but you
Damn sure.
what did you see? What did you
Some
see?
nasty video. I damn sure.
I mean,
I said if it's something nasty, I
no,
damn sure.
No, the dude.
Or whatever you talking about.
He had, look, he had a phone, and he did about that. No, dude, no, she sold on phone. No, to the thing.
Oh, this is like,
Yeah.
oh, I just get up for you. I got a bunch of something.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, mom.
The two got 100 something.
Oh,
Well, that was his phone, really. That's not her phone, it's his. I believe that was his phone. He got
yeah, what kind of fun you had to get up for something?
He's on your own email system phone.
Oh, okay, that's why I like you must have a funny or something.
Yeah. When he spent his phone.
Like, what are you saying? Do you like simple things?
Yeah. Yeah. We got one spent his phone.
Oh,
God
What's his phone?
right.
So, his phone he had.
My soup done, y'all.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's some beanie. I might as well shut this damn door.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, that's some beanie.
Fuck in it.
Shut that damn door.
Oh shit. See, once I get to yawning, I'll start getting motherfucking sleep. I ain't even trying to.
Okay.
And we both been up all damn day and night and shit. We both ain't even been to
Yeah.
sleep. That's the
I
crazy
haven't,
part.
though. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, he's in the sleep.
Huh? That's the fan right now. Yeah. Shit, it's hot. Shit, that's why the fan on. Shit, I'm off of her. Shit, it is hot though.
Yeah, it is.
That's why the fan on.
Cooking in here.
How hot it is outside, I could feel the goddamn heat from out there. Huh? You said what that? Hell yeah, it's hot. Most definitely.
Because our health is connected to our environment, let's work together
Well,
and make healthier choices for a healthier future. Get started at michigan.gov/envirohealth.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Awesome. Yes, we had some wonderful. Yeah. Trust me.
Luego wrap de pollo de Popeye. No sabor para deleitar el paladar.
Welcome to camp life. Let's bow out.
Ready to lift.
The perfect landscape for a creature to hide. In 2006, local sanitation worker Steve Kruger had a run-in with a wolfman beast that made him question everything he ever thought about the supernatural.
I never believed in monsters until I saw that creature attacking me. I thought, what the hell is that?
Wisconsin is dairy-laden. For a state with over 1 million milking cows, there's no love for a predator like the wolf. Since the 1800s, it's been open warfare. By the 1960s, the wolf was officially exterminated from Wisconsin. Some wonder if a few managed to live on and not only survive, but transform. Like insects or rodents that defy extermination, only to come back stronger.
It might be some kind of natural wolf-wolf hybrid that has adapted to run or walk on its hind legs when it suits its purposes for some reason.
Whatever the cause, by the 1980s, Wisconsin was in the midst of a flurry of reports about a bizarre wolfman beast.
Yeah.
You make that thing real like that, then tear your ass up. For real. You see, you better run your ass off. Like you got something powerful with that.
After college, he got a job working sanitation, clearing Wisconsin roads of deer and roadkill.
I spent a lot of time in the woods and seen a lot of crazy things. This beats all of it by a long shot. Back in 2006, I was contracted to pick up the dead deer carcasses along the roadways throughout the state. There was no precipitation. It was just a really nice, cool evening. I was driving and I came across a small deer carcass. It was a small 80-pound doe. So I threw it on the tailgate, picked up the deer and tossed it into the back on top of the ATV ramp. I hopped back into my cab, got the clipboard out and started filling out the paperwork.
What had been a quiet night was about to receive a jolt.
At first, when the truck shook, I thought it was the wind. So I ignored it the first time, started filling out the paperwork again.
When the truck rocked again, it couldn't be ignored.
It really felt like something heavy got into the back end of the truck. And that's where I saw the creature. The whole entire creature was about 7 feet tall. It looked like basically a large wolf head on top of a bear's body. This was not a bear.
Then, it made a move toward the front of the truck.
Scared the dickens out of me. I became panicked and I realized I just needed to get out of there. And it came down to a choice of fight or flight, and I chose the flight.
Yeah, I would have played too.
All I had to do was throw it in the drive and hit the gas. As I did pull away, I heard a metal clank hit the road.
He didn't wait to see what it was. He didn't dare look back.
Hell no. I only got that for car. I would choose flight. Like, yeah, hey, you got a creature. Let me get the hell out of here and use the hell. This your territory. You got it, big dog. When I come back, I gotta come back with something more powerful to kill your ass.
The reason I can presume is that the ramp got tangled up in the deer's legs as it was being dragged off the back end of the truck. They needed that ramp to be able to perform my job.
But that meant
When I come back with a rocket, I'll be ready for you. Other than that, you need something perfect against your ass, because them bullets, the regular guns
When I
ain't
got
probably
back
gonna
to
do
the
it.
spot, there was not a deer, there was not an ATV ramp, and there wasn't a furry creature alongside the road or in the road.
How could the creature manage to carry off a carcass and a heavy ram? Steve Kruger was beginning to consider supernatural explanations.
To realize that there was a creature like that out there, that aggressive, and that willing to get close to people, frightened me.
Steve reported the incident to the sheriff. Patrols dispatched to the site found no clues about the monster, no trace of the heavy ATV ram.
You rested your choice ribeye.
Yeah, look, got close. Yeah, dude. Got the food and then left. It was a good thing he was smart to get up the car, because he would have been fooling it. See, he did smart shit by staying in that goddamn car and ripped the hell out. If they would have got that car, that thing would have ripped him with food. He would have been gone too. Blood everywhere.
Jones dominated the track and conquered the bobsled.
Shut your ass up.
Now she's ready to take on pickleball. This offseason, she's discovering new ways to get moving. With the help of Sierra's amazing brands at incredible prices.
My family, that family. Let me get some of that cold air.
Step into a new 2025 Kia Soul and settle on your next adventure.
No, I didn't.
Offers the perfect blend of performance,
Hell no.
whether it's the class-leading car
That shit works.
and second row hardware, or available 12.3 chill panoramic displays. Click now to view our inventory during the summer
This
sale
motherfucker
sales event.
cooking today out here.
It's alright though.
It was embarrassing. It got worse
Don't worry.
the next day. The news reports started coming out, and it became, over the next week, a complete circus. The story spread like wildfire. It went on national news, and the people closer to home who know me knew this wasn't something I didn't made up.
Despite anyone else's reaction, Steve knows what he saw.
The people that don't believe me, I tell them to go pound sand. I saw what I saw. If they don't believe me, it does not bother me one bit. The creature that I saw is real. It was there, it was real, it was a physical something that I could not recognize that took the deodorant back in the truck.
Wisconsin
I
is
heard
the
that.
only
That nigga, you could tell he did not make that up. You could tell he had no reason to make that no shit up like that. Like that shit. It's a good thing he ain't got the car, because if he did, he wouldn't have been here today. It'd have been fucking blood everywhere. He would have been pouring. So it's a good thing he didn't get a car. He lived to tell the story.
The man dog of Polly, or the dog man of Polly, never realizing that it
I don't know why we go in the woods anyway. You don't know what the hell is in the woods.
It's just one of those
Maybe a
places
little
that has a
They saw a little ugly
Hey, you know, little ugly dude, he want to go fight aliens. You know, with cussing at and shit. He's like, I saw you. He said, son, he said, cuz, come and get me. Shit. They said, cuz, come get me. Cuz, I ain't trying to explain it, cuz. I'm too ugly. They're like, we're going to come get you, cuz. You too ugly for our planet, too.
Different creatures. Eastern Road appears much bigger and seems to be more of your traditional werewolf, whereas the dog man has a supernatural reputation with it as well. But it's more of a spirit-based creature. They have the ability to do you harm outside of just clawing and slashing at you. It's not flesh and blood. You couldn't kill it like you could possibly the beast of Brave Grove.
That's why I used
We do know of over 100 dogman sightings, and it is a widespread phenomenon, not just in Michigan, all across the United States, and actually all across the world. There have been sightings of dogman-like creatures in Argentina, in France, so this is not just an American phenomenon.
The idea of a canine-human hybrid is very old. The ancient Egyptians saw Anubis, their god of the underworld, as a jackal-headed man. In rural Michigan, many have heard the dogman legend. One local felt it breathing down his neck, and barely survived to tell the tale. Meet Jeff Cornelius. He's a creature of the night himself. Jeff is a repo man. Reclaiming cars from deadbeat buyers. It's a job that can take you down desolate back roads.
That soup was good, Roman and family.
I've always felt comfortable in the woods. I'm not really scared of driving along at night, you know. It's how I've always done my work.
Jeff's not really a kind of a scaredy cat guy, you know. He's kind of a big burly dude. He's gonna take you out, or he's gonna die trying.
The only thing Jeff worries about is a delinquent car owner with a loaded 45. It was past midnight on a cold autumn night in 2005. Jeff was on the outskirts of Holly, Michigan, looking for a Cadillac. Some slacker's time had run out.
It was bright and up that night. You could see really well. Where I was looking for the vehicle, very well. I turned on the driveway. It took me probably 200 to 300 yards. It was really creepy setting. You know, it was late at night, you know, the moon was out, you know, all the crickets and stuff. The house had bars on it, which it was just odd to me. It kind of freaked me out. So I got out to look in the window. I had my flashlight and I was looking inside the building. And I heard something snap.
When the job suddenly goes south, Jeff doesn't usually panic. Not this time.
When I think of that night.
Holy shit, I would have left. Why you standing there looking at it still? That nigga stand there for a good minute. I would have been left.
Home turf of the legendary Dogman.
I think it originated from the fear of these forests as great unknown places. The pioneers would hear these sounds and unexplained noises and movement in the woods. And when they caught a glimpse of these creatures, they didn't look like anything they'd ever seen before.
Rumors about a giant man dog continue to circulate to the present day because of encounters like the one repo man Jeff Cornelius had in 2005.
How the fuck did you survive it? Look like that thing should have got your ass instant. Hey, I'm glad you was lying. You still like to tell your story though. But I bet you never did that shit no more.
Outside Holland, Michigan.
Yeah, man, hell yeah. Yeah, man, what would you do? That thing was coming directly at you.
I was definitely skeptic.
I would be that much out of this.
I got in my car so damn
Jeff sees that they're info man. There's a real life scary stuff. There are people coming at you with a 2x4 in the middle of the night, or hearing a click of a shotgun.
When I got out, I'm in the habit of leaving my door open whenever I check for repossession. I always leave the door open just in case.
The house looked abandoned.
You said what?
Just got into his head.
No, me either. I would have ran into my car so bad. So I heard that damn sound. So I see that. I was like, what the fuck creature is that? I was like, instantly went to my car. Yeah, I would have went to my car. I like that is not human.
Guys, we both froze.
That I like not human. That thing is not human.
I'm telling you,
See in 2
I was exploding.
I'll have some child hours now. I'll tell you, she's saying, motherfucking heart is just so good. Be gone to them.
was coming again. directly at me. I jumped in my truck, closed the door, because I was scared. My heart was pounding for sure, you know. Just wanted to get out of there. Busted through my window or something.
Jeff gunned his toe.
Oh, the fucking man left. Nigga, took you that long to go to your car? The first eyes I was seeing, I knew it was a creature. I was left.
100%.
Like that thing ain't human.
When Jeff came and told me that night,
I was instant there. I was staying there for no good 15
I
or
could
10
see
minutes. I
that
was
he was
like, man,
genuinely
I saw that.
afraid that something,
Yeah.
something
I was
scary.
still so little.
Since radio stations in Michigan first broadcast news of the dogman in the late 1980s, more than 500 encounters have been reported. After his experience, Jeff Cornelius dropped the Cadillac account.
Hell yeah, I would
He
too.
never wanted to return to that house again.
When I'm in the woods recalling vehicles, I try to definitely be a little more, aware of my surroundings. So it's not letting anything sneak up on me again. You know what I saw that night? And what I saw was Mad Dog.
Man, dog. That dog is me.
I was drunk that motherfucking job too. Like, hey, man, I can't work here, bro. You like, where is some nigga? That was some bullshit, cause you almost got me killed. Don't be real shit, nigga. I can't work here no more. Fuck that, nigga. I can't. I rather go find me a new job. Nigga, you almost got me fucked up. I barely, nigga, you like I still live. Like, you gonna send me to that that area. You didn't tell me it was some janky shit, bro.
Monsters in mystery.
Up in the North Woods, winters are long.
That nigga did the right thing. Quit that motherfucking job. I would quit it too.
The devouring monster is believed to come forth. It's terrorized Native people for generations.
Oh, they were called Wendigos. They like humans transform into them. They eat human flesh, eat their own people.
Among the traditions of the northern Algonquin tribes is the Wendigo.
Wendigo, that's what they're called.
Of a person to carry out its hunger for human flesh.
The Wendigo force itself to go somehow inside of their bodies and take over control of their faculties to a point where they become homicidal and cannibalistic.
According to the legends, someone infected by the Wendigo is capable of almost anything.
They have such a voracious hunger that they have chewed their own lips off. They're gnawing on their fingers. The more that they eat, their hunger does grow even more intense.
One of the most horrific cases of Wendigo possession unfolded in the 1870s, when a Cree Indian named Swift Runner turned around, claiming his wife and children were missing. Police investigators suspected foul play.
When they walked to his campsite, they were horrified by what they saw. And it didn't take them very long to discover there was something more sinister in this story.
For centuries, the legend of the cannibalistic Wendigo has haunted parts of America's northern border. No one is safe in its path.
The Wendigo is a predator of human. It stalks human beings relentlessly, but it also has the capacity to prey upon someone within their lives.
Once the Wendigo takes hold, you are a starving, savage beast with an insatiable hunger.
The legend of the Wendigo originated in North America. The Native Americans,
Wendigos are very
once
dangerous.
they
You
go
do
back
not want to
to
get
the
checked
very
by the
early
motherfuckers.
historical records, probably in the 1500s.
I said Wendigos are very dangerous. You don't want to get checked by those.
Fear even talking about this. And even the mention of the name of the Wendigo, find out where you are, and it will open you up to be possessed by this Wendigo.
No, it's this commercial stuff.
When life plays dirty, water wipes. Pure, clean, healthy skin.
Since 1911, Challenge has endeavored to make butter exponentially better.
This is the thing, Michigan, Flint don't have none of these creatures. They wouldn't be able to live out here.
No, it's about other in Michigan.
That's what they like.
It's about other in Michigan. This is good in Michigan, but it's about other in Michigan.
This case of a Wendigo possession took place in 1879 in the deep woods outside of Edmonton, Alberta. Swift Runner, a Cree Indian, was a trapper and a guide. He had left town the previous autumn with his wife, 6 children, and his mother. But when Swift Runner returned in spring, he was alone.
Swift Runner came into a nearby village telling this heartbreaking tale. I had to watch them starve to death. Of his family being killed by starvation, and that he was the only survivor. My whole family gone.
It wasn't hard to understand a family falling victim to a brutal winter. Yet something was suspicious about Swift Runner.
He was a strapping man, and he came into town weighing over 200 pounds. It didn't look like somebody who had just weathered a terrible winter. He wasn't malnourished. It didn't look like he was starving. He looked healthier than ever.
After a few nights, it became clear that something was wrong.
He started having night terrors, screaming in his sleep. I am the Wendigo!
Villagers alerted the police.
Swift Runner actually guided them back to his winter cabin. When they got there, that's when they saw the true horror. Human skulls were scattered around, many bones, some of which had been snapped in half, and the marrow inside had been drained. They had never seen anything like it. Swift Runner had killed his entire family, shooting them, hitting them with an axe, strangling, and then eating most of their bodies.
Right up until the moment the noose was on his neck, Swift Runner swore the evil spirit of the Wendigo had possessed him and twisted him into a cannibal killer.
When he was on the gallows, Swift Runner himself said, "I am no longer a man."
In the unforgiving North Woods, hunger and horror go hand in hand.
The Wendigo can turn himself into anything. Look like somebody like, he's a spirit and he's a man.
In 2008, some believe a Wendigo came to life on an ordinary bus, with horrific results. A young man was getting settled for a long bus ride home. Little did he know, it would be the last ride of his life.
No! No! The witnesses had never encountered anything like this in their life. It looked like he was a man that was possessed by some type of spirit, and led many to believe he might have been the Wendigo.
The Wendigo appears in the legends of many North American tribes as a giant frozen monster. So gaunt, it's almost skeletal. So hungry, it's bitten off chunks of its own flesh.
The Wendigo is a hideous monster, reported to be somewhere between 8 and 15 feet tall, white skin, white fur. It will have these large antlers and horns growing out of its head. Truly a horrifying creature.
Even today, there's a belief that a Wendigo can show up anytime, anywhere. 250 miles north of Fargo, North Dakota, one might have appeared on an ordinary bus. July 30th, 2008, a Greyhound bus was en route to Winnipeg with 36 passengers aboard. One of them, a young man on his way home, was just falling asleep.
It was sometime later that another man got on the bus with a duffel bag and black sunglasses. His name was Vincent Lee. Came onto the bus and seated himself at the back.
The bus drove on for another hour. Then, something monstrous overtook Lee. A ravener's voice was gaining strength, and it's unleashed on the sleeping young man seated next to Lee.
This man, of course, wakes up and starts scrambling, trying to fight off Mr. Lee. And the entire time he's screaming. And this blood-curdling scream alerts the rest of the passengers of what's going on. And they look over and are horrified to see this man being killed right in front of their eyes.
The bus immediately pulled to a stop. Passengers fled outside.
I never heard that about on the news.
The inconceivable happened.
He severs his head right off of his body and very, very calmly walking up and down the aisle of the bus, brandishing his head.
And he holds it out like a trophy, showing the other passengers.
And it wasn't a brutal attack that carried whispers of Wendigo. It was what came next.
Eyewitnesses said that he was actually taking pieces and eating them.
It bore the signs of Wendigo, a monster in its most brutal form.
The fact that he was eating them led many to believe he might have been the Wendigo, that he was possessed by some type of spirit. He wasn't angry, he wasn't provoked. It was as cool, as calm as he was just taking a walk on the beach.
It seemed to be totally unexplainable, but yet at the same time, it was occurring right in front of their eyes.
The police managed to make the capture and arrest. Was Vincent Lee merely insane? Given the history of cannibalistic killings in the North Woods, some suggest this was an evil force at work. Ancient cases like Swift Runner and the heartbreaking fate of his family. Or modern ones, like a cannibalistic killing on a Greyhound bus, defy normal logic. Is a monster like the Wendigo the explanation?
They become a predator of humanity and the human beings that they see around them. Usually their family, relatives, or friends have become the prey.
I believe the Wendigo still exists because he's a spirit. It's always going to be around.
For generations, legends of monsters have circulated around the upper Midwest. Many dismiss them as just stories.
Those childhood stories that my grandmother told me, I haven't grown any less afraid of them.
For those who've encountered these monsters firsthand, the stories are as real as life and death.
When I look into the woods now, there's always that fear that it could be out there.
Whether
you believe that the Beast of Bray Road, the Michigan Dogman, and other unknown upright canines are real creatures or not, you're still fascinated because people are seeing them, they're having interactions, we don't know what it is. It's a mystery.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now with BK. Get it before it disappears. Total plans.
I'm gonna see that thing go straight.
Yeah, that big one. That's a man. That's a big ass wolf. I was like 45 minutes
The perfect landscape for a crew.
Oh, UFO. It's talking about UFO. Oh, it's like
In 2006, local sanitation worker Steve Kruger had a run-in with the Wolfman Beast that made him question everything he ever.
Oh, what they showing?
Yeah, so that was okay.
That's amazing. You gotta buy that movie. I don't know what that. You gotta order it.
Last time I had DJs out with who? Returning to normal.
The Stick.
Power Rangers. I mean, it's just a good time. But for all the fun as many of us have of this franchise, there are some dark implications and fan theories surrounding it. I can't wait. Let's get right into it. These are disturbing Power Rangers theories we can. Power Rangers. I mean, it's just a good time. But for all the fun as many of us have of this franchise, there are some dark implications and fan theories surrounding it. I can't wait. Let's get right into it. These are disturbing Power Rangers theories we can no longer ignore. Power Rangers fans love to joke about this one. Angel Grove, the city where most of the original Mighty Morphin Rangers stories take place, would be a terrible place to live. I mean, this isn't even really a theory, it's just how it is. Watch the show. Almost every week, this poor town gets attacked by a new monster, and then giant robots are constantly battling people.
With hotels and vacation rentals, Booking.com has something for everyone.
Parking lots, factories. Imagine being a shop owner in an environment like this. Storefronts would be probably cheap as hell to rent, but only because you're living basically in a war zone. The economy would be in the toilet. No wonder these kids spend so much of their time at the recreation center at school. They have nowhere else to go. I mean, are you kidding me? These are the kids who choose to spend their time at a juice bar after class instead of doing, I don't know, anything else? It's because all the cool places keep getting wrecked by giant turtles with traffic lights attached to their bodies. Or a big pig monster wearing an ancient Roman centurion helmet for some reason. How could Angel Grove afford to rebuild the same skyscrapers and abandoned warehouses over and over again? The city's finances must be a total disaster, constantly in debt because they're pouring all their money into repairs. Forget math class. The Rangers should have taken their business up to space a lot sooner. All right, that one was pretty obvious. Let's get nerdier. We're really getting into the iceberg now. Ever since Power Rangers Turbo, been one question on everyone's minds. Well, two, actually. First of all, why does the Blue Ranger go from a small child to a fully grown adult when he morphs? And two, who or what even is the Phantom Ranger? Before we proceed, I just want to let y'all know I'm going to be referencing the shows here. I'm not really familiar with the Boom comics, so leave your thoughts on that whole side of things down in the comments, but I'm really just focusing
on what we see on screen for this video. So one theory is that the Phantom Ranger is actually Billy. There's some sense to this. The Phantom Ranger shows up about a year after Billy left Earth to live with a bunch of aliens. The Phantom Ranger also came from space, seemed to have a lot of the tech whiz knowledge Billy was famous for, but the recent Netflix special, Once and Always, completely undermines this, because Billy goes back to being the MMPR Ranger, and the Phantom Ranger also makes an appearance, so these are two different people. There's another theory about the Phantom Ranger, though, a much darker one. Reddit user Gino Gaines wrote that they think the Phantom Ranger is a, quote, embodiment of all fallen or deceased Rangers, making him essentially a ghostly robot. And I like that theory. It explains the Ranger's wealth of knowledge. It's why we never see his face, if he or she or it even has one. And of course, adds a lot more weight to the whole Phantom thing. Here's what a lot of fans had a hard time making sense of. Why did the Rangers ditch the Zeo powers? I mean, obviously it is to sell more toys, but in universe, I mean, the Zeo Rangers were arguably the most powerful in the entire franchise. The Zeo crystals made them stronger than ever before, and the power would progressively grow over time. This was the height of their power. So where do we go from there? Cars. You know, they get headlights on their helmets now. We go from this kind of ancient alien sort of vibe to like NASCAR superheroes. Again, aside from the running out of Super Sentai footage, this transition was just completely arbitrary in universe, seemingly anyway. But one theory conjured up by desperate nerds like me trying to make narrative sense of a kid's superhero show from the 90s is that these teens with attitude in their mid-20s just couldn't handle the sheer power of the Zeo crystals. It just put too much strain on their bodies. Thus, they needed to ditch the Zeo crystals and harness the power of vehicles, leading to one of the lowest points in the series. Sorry, Turbo fans, all dozen of you. From a pure design perspective, though, I will say, rad suits. And the Sentai it pulls from is insane. There. Put your torches away. Again, all dozen of you. All right, from low to high, let's talk a bit about Time Force, hailed by fans as one of the best seasons in the franchise. Power Rangers from a dystopian future with Vernon Wells from Mad Max as your main villain. Incredible. So we know Power Rangers has multiple dimensions, but some fans think that this Ranger team might actually be the reason those other worlds exist. The Time Force Agency does whatever it takes to protect their own timeline. Their story is set in the year 3000. They have time travel, so really not a stretch to imagine the use of it altered the timeline and created these splintered off universes. Could explain why everything from MMPR to In Space is connected, and each series afterward seems to exist in its own timeline, barely ever referencing anything from before, aside from the occasional guest appearance or special like Forever Red. If you really take the time to scrutinize everything, these crossovers don't always line up. It would also explain why the MMPR Rangers suddenly have those cool armored up suits in the 1995 movie and then go back to the standard spandex for season 3. It's because they exist in two parallel universes. So bam, alternate timelines caused by time travel. Kind of helps explain everything and tie it together. Now, if there's any character who's the face of this franchise, it's Tommy Oliver. He totally changed the game when he showed up as the Ranger. So cool, he got to don a whole new suit and set of powers as the White Ranger, went on to lead the team in Zeo, and he showed up throughout the series making guest appearances, even becoming a staple of Dino Thunder as a main cast member. Aside from the character just being that iconic that bringing him back would always get fans excited, there's an interesting in-universe theory as to why Tommy just couldn't seem to shake being a Ranger. Could never quite move on. He was never able to get over his not-so-great first impression when he became a pawn for Rita Repulsa, beating the ever-loving crap out of the other Rangers and nearly destroying Angel Grove. Even though he wasn't fully in control of his actions, Tommy just couldn't forgive himself. And when you look at it that way, it's kind of sad. And so is what I'm saying right now. I think I might need help. This one is less speculation and more of a darker lens to watch the show through. See, we're told that Zordon is this wise, good-hearted mentor who guides the Power Rangers, but when you really look at it, it seems like Zordon has his own hidden agenda the whole time, or at least wasn't great about how he went about his mission. One fan theory is that Zordon's goal wasn't just to protect Earth, it was to make sure his plan to release the Z-Wave would work. The Z-Wave is the huge energy blast that spread out when Zordon's energy tube was destroyed at the end of Power Rangers in Space. It wiped out most of the evil forces across the universe. Some fans believe Zordon knew this would happen all along and carefully set up events so that when the time was right, the Z-Wave would take out his enemies in one big move. The theory even suggests that he gave the Rangers weaker powers during Power Rangers Turbo on purpose. There's another explanation for that. So instead of giving them the strongest powers he could, he kept them just strong enough to hold off threats, but not strong enough to solve everything without him. That way, the final victory would still rely on Zordon's sacrifice. It's a stretch, but it is kind of fun to imagine Zordon not really being the pure, selfless hero we're led to believe he is. As if, using a bunch of innocent teenagers as pawns in your intergalactic war because they know karate didn't make that obvious enough. I never watched a single episode of Jungle Fury, just couldn't get into the designs. I mean, I was like 15 when it came out. I was at least making an attempt to have other things on my mind outside of people in spandex fighting giant rubber monsters from Japan. But as a full-grown man, I now find myself making this video, digging into fan theories online, and from what I've seen, Casey Rhodes comes up in Power Rangers fan theories a lot. He makes a guest appearance in a later season, Super Mega Force, showing up briefly as a mentor, training the new Rangers in martial arts, but he never morphs into his Ranger form, which is weird, as most veteran Rangers who come back usually do. Even stranger, after this quick training scene, Casey pretty much vanishes from the story. Well, fans ran with this and came up with a kind of creepy theory that Casey might have actually been dead by this point. Some think he wasn't really there, that he could have been a projection from the Morphin Grid, or just a straight-up ghost. The Morphin Grid has been shown to be kind of a living energy source that can connect Rangers across time and space, so it wouldn't be impossible for it to project someone like Casey to help when needed. Alright, so I gotta talk about Lost Galaxy at least once in this video. It's probably my favorite season aside from In Space. So at the end of Lost Galaxy, the TerraVenture colony crash lands on a planet called Miranoi, where the season first began. They resurrect its people who've been turned to stone. And the colony has been floating around on TerraVenture.
How many Power Rangers shows they came out with? They could never get the effect where it make it look like they got hit for real.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they could not get correct. I'm like, damn, they make the sell, but when you know what I'm saying, when you grown, you watch, you like, damn. I used to think they really get hit, but then you realize they don't get hit.
Yeah.
And you like, damn, they need to make it look like they taking some damage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the blasts always go behind them.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, how does the blast go behind them if they get attacked directly?
They built a fully functional city in under a year. This seems impossible if only a few dozen survivors from TerraVenture are doing the work. So the theory is that TerraVenture's crew used the people of the planet as labor. Miranoi was nothing but a jungle originally. It looked like they were just living off the land when we first see the planet. So during the Lightspeed Rescue Lost Galaxy crossover, when we see the Red Ranger Leo strolling through what appears to be this polished city with fully built streets and buildings, it kind of makes you wonder who built it all. Was TerraVenture the utopia it seemed, or is the Rangers' happy new world actually built on the backs of coerced locals? These are the important questions. And we'll finish off with a fun one, also kind of a dark one. Tommy Oliver is actually Zordon. Now, that sounds like a pretty insane idea, but this actually kind of ties everything together. We've established that there are multiple universes in Power Rangers, possibly parallel ones created by the Time Force team. Now, Tommy becomes several Rangers in the series. Starts as Green, really loses his powers completely, then becomes the White Ranger, goes on to lead Zeo as Red, and he's Turbo Red for a bit, and eventually comes back as the Black Ranger in Dino Thunder after some sporadic guest appearances in other seasons. Well, what if every time Tommy became a new Ranger, his physical body is getting weaker, but he is getting more connected to the Morphin Grid? Since we've established alternate universes and time travel is a thing, maybe Tommy in the distant future is so connected to the Morphin grid that he sees a reality where Rita Repulsa destroys the Rangers in that time, the original MMPR team. Suddenly, all his pain, his regret, his guilt about once being Rita's top underling, it all comes racing back. No, he says, I gotta stop her before she even has a chance. So future Tommy goes back in time to stop Rita Repulsa before she even unleashes herself on the world, sealing her in the dumpster, of course. He's also sealed away in the time warp during a fight, and thus, there we are at the start of MMPR. Tommy, in this desperate attempt for ultimate redemption, ends up setting everything in motion. True or not, that's a pretty cool story. With all that said, I've been your host, James, and I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next.
That's a crazy ass theory.
Most definitely.
Tommy is the grid person.
Secure victory requires an F1 movie. Top parts. They also need to eat. KFC fill-ups are back.
Have you seen this weapon before? How about this one? If not, then keep watching for the 9 all-time rarest weapons in Elden Ring. Some of these weapons have less than 1% chance to drop, meaning most players won't ever have even seen them. I'll show you where to get all 9 of these rare weapons and how to upgrade them to get the most from their abilities. We'll start with the rarest colossal sword in the game, the Watch Dogs Great Sword. It scales primarily with strength and has insane damage. With heavy infusion, it surpasses all other colossal swords in the game, barring the Great Sword. However, I personally prefer the Watch Dog Great Sword due to its Ash of War, which is a nasty crouching upwards slash. An alternative Ash of War that functions similarly is the Cragblade Ash of War, which is sort of the same but has this cool purple look. This slash can actually be used to duck under enemy hits, so it's useful both offensively and defensively, as we see with this enemy here. While the sword does have overall less damage than the Great Sword and is slightly shorter, the Watch Dogs Great Sword is slightly lighter and does a tiny bit more poise damage. And for me, it just looks nicer. It actually gets covered in dirt and earth the more you use it, which for me is a nice effect. I like that. But don't worry if you want to keep it clean, because the dirt comes right off. Just have a few whacks of it. To get the Watch Dogs Great Sword, head to the giant conquering hero's grave, and from here go through the dungeon until you see the Watchdog. This guy is about 10 seconds from the site of grace. Lead it into the light and kill it with a sword, making sure to kill the imps first because they're annoying. The Watchdog's Great Sword has an 8% chance to drop, so after about 10 runs or so, you should come away with the sword. The next rare weapon in Elden Ring that most people won't have is the Golem Great Bow. This bow out-damages all other great bows on a quality build. According to the description, this great bow requires enormous strength just to draw, suggesting it was not designed for human use. I could have told you that. The amount of strength it does need is 24, along with 18 dex, so make sure you've got that in order to fire the Golem Great Bow. Now, I'm not an archer, I don't really like to play as an archer in Elden Ring, so I haven't really upgraded the Golem Great Bow that much, so you're not really seeing this at its full potential, but it just gives you an idea of its moveset. To get this bow for yourself, you have to grind the Archer Golems, and the easiest ones to grind are along the canyon path to the Giant Jar, which is in Caleb. So go along the canyon and kill the 2 golems at the end. If it's not dropping for you, then try boosting your item discovery with the Silver Scarab Talisman. You can also wear the Silver Tear Mask and use a Silver Pickled Foulfoot to boost your discovery. Use these 3 items whenever you're farming, and your chances of getting the item you want raise considerably. And one more thing, if you do want more arrows, I get mine from the Hermit Merchant in Autumn's Plateau. He sells all types of arrows, so visit him and get your arrows. Okay guys, this is the joint rarest weapon in the whole game. I was going to save this one till the end of the video, but who cares, we're not doing this in order. It's the Noble's Slender Sword, and it has a 0.5% drop rate, which is the lowest of any Elden Ring weapon jointly. On average, you'd have to do a farming run 200 times just to get this weapon to drop once. Now, I'm not going to lie, this isn't the most powerful sword in the game, but it's definitely a great little collector's item and really fun to play around with. It's the longest sword of its type in the game and has an Ash of War that lets you break through enemy guards charge and close the distance quickly. To get the noble's slender sword, first head to the Waypoint Ruins site of Grace. From here, leave the cellar and follow this route to the nearby troll caravan. Kill the mob here over and over until one of them drops the sword. The specific enemy type that drops the sword is this one, but hey, you might as well kill everything. Everyone's pretty low level around here. I put hundreds of hours into Elden Ring and killed so many nobles without seeing the noble slender sword drop once, so your best bet to get the sword is going after this caravan with laser-like focus. Just keep doing it and you will get lucky. It dropped for me after about 50 attempts, but I'm one of the lucky ones. Some people still have not even seen it. Keep going, guys, keep going. On to the magma blade now, and the Ash of War on this one is ridiculous. Look at that. Holding L2 unleashes a fountain of pure magma that burns enemies and stuns them so they can't attack. According to the description, the magma blade is a curved sword with a blade fashioned from the lava of Mount Gelmir. An armament of the man serpents impossible for a human to have made. With a tiny 1% drop rating, your chances of getting this weapon are slim, but here's how you can get it right now. First, head to the Temple of Iglade, site of Grace, then head in the elevator. Kill the annoying enemy on your left, and then head right and kill the first snake dude. If this one doesn't drop the magma blade, follow this route and kill the second snake dude at the end of the corridor. Repeat this short farming run until you've got the blade. If you want to increase your chances of it dropping, again, as with all farming runs, I recommend using these 3 items. The Silver Scarab Talisman, Silver Tear Mask, and Silver Pickle Outfits. For me, it dropped after about 3 hours, yes, 3 hours of constant farming, but other players have reported even longer, so days and days of grinding just to get this magma blade. But it's not a myth, I'm not even kidding, I haven't modded this into my game, this is a real weapon, I'm not just trying to play a trick on you, trust me. One final tip, you can actually boost your fire damage of the magma blade by 32%. To do this, use the Fire Scorpion Charm Talisman and slot a Flame Shrouding Crack Tear into your fidget flaps. Remember that the Ash of War scales off faith, so the higher your faith, the more damage you'll do with the Ash of War attack. Alright guys, if you want the best whip in the whole game, this is the one you need. It outperforms every single other whip, so you can kill your enemies in spectacular fashion. I'm not a whip guy, so again, you're not really seeing this at its full upgraded potential, but trust me, this is the best whip statistically in Elden Ring. And you can only find it in one specific place. To get your hands on the Thorned Whip, head to the Giant's Mountaintop Catacomb site of Grace, which is in the mountaintop of the Giants region. Now go up to the Fire Prelate who's in front of the long narrow bridge and kill it. The Fire Prelate has a 4% chance of dropping the whip, and it's really annoying too because there are these fire spewing monks all around it. A summon will help here, so I do recommend you doing a summon, and that will distract their focus. Just keep killing the Prelate until you get the Thorned Whip. It's a great weapon for interrupting enemy attacks, has the joint highest dex rating in the game, which you can get up to a B rating at the blacksmith, and let's face it, just looks cool as hell. It's so spiky. In terms of comparisons with other whips, the next best whip is Hoslow's Petal Whip, but while Hoslow's Petal Whip has higher innate bleed, the Thorned Whip has higher dex scaling with B as opposed to Hoslow's C. So the Thorned Whip slightly edges it. This is the Golem Halberd, and it's got the highest strength requirement of any rare weapon in the game at 36. If you primarily level up strength, this weapon is a beast. It's got incredible range whether you're using the R2 attack or sprinting, then attacking, but what I like to do is use the Raptor's Black Feathers armor to raise my jump attacks. Then you can jump all over the place with this heavy ass halberd. As per the description, this is a great halberd of black stone crafted by a civilization now gone to ruin. Now, the reason this weapon is so rare is because it only spawns in one location. This is Limgrave Tower Bridge. What you have to do is run across the bridge and kill the 2 golems you see here. There's a 10% chance one of them drops a halberd. What makes this farming run more difficult is the third golem at the end of the bridge shooting great arrows at you the whole time. Golems are pretty tough in the early game, so I recommend waiting until you level up a bit, and that'll make this farm a bit quicker. Okay, we're on to the Noble's S-Stock, which is joint top with the Noble's Slender Sword as the rarest weapon in Elden Ring, which definitely makes it worth having simply because the majority of people don't even know about it. You can use its default frosting attack, Ash of War, or if you go for style, slap the Sacred Blade Ash of War on it and fling out projectile attacks. Now let's be honest, the vanilla S-Stock has better damage, longer range, and is easier to get than the Noble's S-Stock, but the Noble's S-Stock is rarer, and that's the point of this entire video. The best place to farm this is at the Mistwood outskirts Grace Site. Just to the north, a short run away are 3 nobles. One of them has the S-Stock, so kill this little mob over and over until they drop the sword. You're going to be there a while, so prepare for a grind, but come on, having a sword that only have a 0.5% drop rate is pretty fun. It's pretty good to have. The River Rake has to be one of the creepiest weapons in the whole game, and this is a game featuring weapons in the form of giant purple fingers and poisoned and stingers. But it is decent as well with a spinning attack you can use to take out multiple foes, a long-range thrust attack to close the distance, and an Ash of War that lets you stun enemies so you can break their attack animation. According to the description, the River Rake is a ceremonial tool used by dancers during the festivities of Dominula, which is why you'll find it in Windmill Village, dropped by the creepy dancing nuns. To get the River Rake for yourself, head to the Windmill Village site of Grace and kill the nuns wielding the River Rake. Any nun with a River Rake, strike them down, and you'll have a very small chance of getting it. And I mean very small. It's pretty hard to target the one specifically wielding the River Rake, so you might as well go after everyone because you kill one of these nuns and it will aggro literally everyone in the area. So yeah, just murder everyone. If you want to try something fun with this weapon, I recommend the Poison build. Put the Poison Mist Ash of War on it and wear the Rot's Exaltation Talisman, and you'll poison most enemies in about 2 to 4 hits. And if you decide to rock a Great Shield as well, you'll turn what was ordinarily a creepy pokey weapon into a veritable wall of poison. And lastly, this is the ultra rare Clean Rot Spear, and it's the only weapon in Elden Ring with this move. This move is called Sacred Phalanx, and it's a holy attack, can kill multiple enemies at once, and is one of the coolest looking skills in the entire game. To get your hands on the Clean Rot Spear, head to the Heart of Enonia site of Grace and farm this enemy. This is a Clean Rot Knight. He starts face down in the poison, so wait till he comes up and land your hits on him before he has a chance to answer back. The drop rate is super low on the Clean Rot Spear, but thankfully the site of Grace is not too far away, so you can keep spawning back there and repeating the run. Stay on your horse so you don't get poisoned by the swamp, and keep around the back of the Clean Rot Knight, because otherwise he'll block your attack. Once you've got your Clean Rot Spear, you can use its Sacred Phalanx skill to obliterate enemies, or you could try and farm a second spear and dual wield them. Make sure to give this weapon a go with a small shield in your other hand as well, because with the small shield you can attack and defend at the same time. And those were the 9 rarest weapons in all of Elden Ring. Do let me know in the comments if there are other rare weapons I haven't mentioned in this video. If you enjoyed this video, then remember to click the like button. I would massively appreciate that. And for more Elden Ring videos, subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Golf has always been so expensive. They come out and make these irons that are so good. When I hit to go for the first time, wow, unbelievable. Performing the same, feels the same as a very expensive iron. And that's huge.
In this video, let's check out the best insanely rare weapons and armor sets in the game. Some long-time viewers will probably recognize a few of the items on this list, as this is a series that I have brought you previously. However, it's now updated and is bigger and better than ever. And as you can see from the length of the video, I've meticulously blended this entire series into one easily digestible video. So grab some snacks and a notepad, and let's get geared up and prepare for the DLC with some of the most powerful and rarest equipment in the game. This is one of the most coveted armor sets in the game, at least for me personally, because I adore the Redmane Knights. I think they look incredibly awesome, and damn is this set hard to farm. So meet me here now at the impassable Great Bridge Site of Grace, and we are going to run northwest past all of these soldiers and dogs having a fight. And toward the edge of the cliff, you will find the Redmane Knight that we're going to farm. There are actually 3 farmable Redmane Knights in Castle Redmane itself, but they're very spread out and none of them are anywhere near a site of grace. The reason I have advised to farm this guy will become apparent in just a second. Once he is dead, jump off the cliff and kill yourself. Once you die, opt to resurrect at the Stake of Marika, and it will put you on a cliff just above his spawn location. Now you can jump straight back down, kill him again, rinse and repeat. Killing him and respawning 3 times is much, much quicker than trying to farm all 3 of the knights in Castle Redmane, which is why it is preferable to do it this way. Also, obviously, make sure you're doing things like wearing the Silver Scarab Talisman and using the Silver Pickled Foulfoot. If you need more, usually the ingredient that you're lacking for this is the 4-toed Foulfoot. And another great reason for farming this knight is because there is a load of penguins around that will drop that item. Yes, I know that's not their actual name. I know what it is. I can't pronounce it. I'm not even going to attempt it. But it is on the screen for you now, so you know what critter I'm talking about. Okay, enough rambling about the Redmane armor set. Let's move on to the second item, the Black Dumpling. The best place to farm this one is going to be at the Guest Hall Grace site in the Volcano Manor. This headpiece is horrific, truly. Just listen to the text. A mask forced on a victim's head to lend torture an extra degree of cruelty. It magnifies one's fears and makes them acutely aware of all forms of pain. When the Black Dumpling goes on, the torturer no longer seeks answers, only to inflict suffering without hope of relief. Also, as it says, it raises your attack power when you suffer from madness, which is a very weird, very unique effect. So this can be paired with something like the Unendurable Frenzy as a way to intentionally trigger it on yourself to get that 10% damage boost that you get for wearing this headpiece. As for farming it, literally head out into the next room and you will see one of the first generation Albinaurics wearing it. Now head south into the previous room. There will be 4 more in here and another one that runs down the stairs at you, for a total of 6 that you can farm in very quick succession. Then you just want to run back or teleport back to the Guest Hall Grace site and do it again. Rinse and repeat until you have the Black Dumpling. As there is 6 of them to farm, despite the fact that this may be the rarest one on the list, it shouldn't take too long because there are 6 nice and close and they die very, very quickly. Now we shall move on to number 3, the Blue Silver set. I shall now meet you at Ordina in the Consecrated Snowfields as we take a look at the Blue Silver set. This is worn by the wolf-riding Albinauric archers and is probably one of my favourite armor sets in the game. It's incredibly awesome and unique, and my god is it hard to farm. Personally, what I recommend is killing Latenna when you first meet her at the Slumbering Wolf's shack. You lock yourself out of a dragon smithing stone, but she dropped this whole set right at the start of the game, and you remove the need for this agonizing farm. Should you wish to keep her alive and do the farm, from the Ordina Grace site, head southwest and there will be a few wolves and 3 archers all stood around these cliffs. They are lethal and will all back each other up. As soon as you shoot one, they'll all start shooting, so it is not an easy farm. So the alternative is to fight the archers actually in the town itself, but that's arguably no easier. No matter which way you look at it, farming these archers is tough because they are crazy strong in terms of damage and defense. Yeah, there's no easy way to put this. If you want to do this farm, good luck. It's going to be painful, but the reward is so worth it. This set is awesome. So now that we've done that, we will talk about a very specific chest piece, the Guardian Armor in full bloom.
Quick public service announcement for you. This chest piece is missable. As you see, I'm in the Minor Erdtree Church, where we farmed the rest of the Guardian set and the Sword Spear. However, please be advised, despite the fact that all the Guardians here are very clearly wearing this armor, they do not drop it. You can only get this armor from the Guardians with the large flowers near the Erdtree Sanctuary Site of Grace in the Royal Capital before it becomes the Ashen Capital. So if you want this, you need to farm it before you change the world state. It has a very cool effect that it raises the HP recovery effects of your Flask of Tears, but greatly lowers your fire damage negation. And this bit of flavor text is very cool. It is said that the blood-red flowers blooming on their backs mark the senescence of their ancient pact. Perhaps the Guardians are part tree already. I genuinely think the Guardians may have become my favorite NPCs in the whole game. I love everything about them. I love their look, I love their lore, I love their weapon, clearly. I cannot stop banging on about the Guardian Sword Spear. So as I can't stop banging on about how good it is, let's talk about the first weapon on our list, which is of course the Guardian Sword Spear. When it comes to this weapon, the best place to farm it is going to be the Minor Erdtree Church at the south of the Lanedale capital outskirts. There are 6 Guardians here around the church. Most of them are hiding in the floor though, so have a look for what look like bunches of red flowers sticking out of the ground. And hopefully, after a few resets with high enough discovery, you'll be able to grab yourself the Guardian's Sword Spear. Now, this weapon is incredibly slept on and needs quite a lot of explanation to stress exactly how amazing this is. Firstly, again, it has the spinning slash, but you can infuse it with any Ash of War and get rid of that. More importantly, this weapon has insanely high scaling with dexterity, especially if you apply the Keen affinity to it. So much so that a plus 25 Keen Sword Spear actually has a higher attack rating at both 99 strength and 99 dex than a quality short spear at 99 strength and 99 dex. If you want a bloody powerful dex weapon, this is the one you want to use. It also has a unique moveset compared to most other halberds, shared only with Loretta's War Sickle. Honestly, this is probably the most slept on weapon in the game. I've done a separate build guide based around this weapon because it is so powerful, so make sure you go and check that out as well. And now onto the next set, the High Page set. Not to be mistaken with the Page set, this one is far rarer as there are not many High Pages around. It does not have any gloves, and it shares the page trousers with the regular page set. So you're actually only farming for the hood and the clothes. This is best farmed in Lanedale Royal Capital, as there are a few around there, and the quickest one to farm would be from the West Capital Rampart Site of Grace, run out towards the Gargoyle and the Golden Seed, and double back on yourself, head down the stairs, and there is a page on your left-hand side. It's a short run and you won't aggro any enemies, so you can just quickly keep farming that one. However, if you've already gone past the Royal Capital, you now find me in the Raya Lucaria Academy, and to easily get to this one, once you have unlocked the shortcut ladder, from the Church of the Cuckoo Site of Grace, enter the church, take the ladder up, and on the other side of the room is a long hallway where you will find this high page at the end. It is still quite an aggravating grind because of the fact that they are so limited, and it is a bit of a trek to get back every single time you need to refarm. Also, it can be altered to remove the cape, but let's be honest, armor sets always look so much better with capes, so leave it on. Now we're going to take a look at the Mausoleum Soldier set and the Mausoleum Knight set. We'll start off with the Mausoleum Soldier set, and the easiest place to grind for this one is at the Eastgate Bridge Trestle, here in Northern Liurnia. Now head east towards the Wandering Mausoleum and just kill all of the Mausoleum soldiers around here. There's also a Mausoleum Knight that you can farm for the Knight set, but hold that thought, there is an easier one, and I'll come onto that once we've finished talking about the Soldier set. It's a good job there are so many Mausoleum soldiers here, because the drop rate is abysmal. It took me hours, and throughout this total clear, you can see I didn't get even one piece of their armor set. So if you do want this one, good luck, because you'll probably need it. Now that I've shown you where to farm for this one, we will move on to the Mausoleum Knights. And actually, the best place to farm for this one is way to the northeast in the Black Knife Catacombs. As soon as you load in here, head back outside and a Mausoleum Knight is right in front of you. With the right weapon and enough damage, one backstab will kill them. So though the grind for this one is quite slow, it's very painless because the Site of Grace is right there and you can usually kill this Mausoleum Knight before it even aggroes. Also, the flavor text of the armor is heartbreakingly awesome. The winged-shaped ornaments on its back evoke the Death Bird, a self-inflicted curse that ties the spirits of these loyal knights to the land, having willingly beheaded themselves so that they may serve their masters in death. That is truly haunting. And again, make sure with all of these farms that your discovery is way higher than mine currently is. Bump up that arcane skill, use the silver scarab, use the silver pickle foul feet, or this will take you an eternity. The next one we'll be reviewing is the Marionette Soldier Bird Helm. A metal helm formed in the likeness of the face of a bird, worn by the Avionette soldiers crafted to serve the sorcerers. The construction of this helm is remarkably crude. For a doll, the only thing that matters is that it does not break. I'm not going to lie, I think it looks pretty damn dumb, but for all of us completionists out there, we must have it. So now let me show you the easiest way to farm it. Meet me at the Southern Aeonia Swamp Bank in Caelid. Of course, we've come here for a reason, and that's because there are 3 nearby Avionettes that you can kill without needing to aggro any other enemies. Straight away, head northwest, and you can aggro one of them right here. As soon as you've taken out that one, head back to the grey site, and now you want to go southwest, and there are 2 more in this area that you can farm as well. Just grind them, and you will probably have this one in no time at all. Next is the Octopus Head. This has got about a 0.5% chance to drop from any of the little baby land octopuses, not to be confused with the giant land octopuses. For the longest time, I actually thought this did drop from the giant ones, and it was only when this dropped for me during my most recent playthrough that I realised. It's not quite as hard to farm as a few others on this list due to the fact there are so many of them. In fact, loads of them can be found just south of the Saints Bridge Site of Grace in a small lake right by where you first meet Iron Fist Alexander. There's a few other locations with lots of them, but honestly, I'd say that's probably the easiest place to farm it. And just one other quick thing about the Octopus Head before we move into the second piece. For its weight, it actually has surprisingly solid resistances. And as the item description states, those who can withstand the smell will find its organic elasticity excellent for negating strikes. And exactly as it says, its strike resistance is insane, especially for how light it is. So this is actually a really solid mid-weight helm, albeit it looks creepy AF and has its own jiggle physics. Moving on, and we're actually going to be looking at both the Nox Monk and the Nox Sorceress sets. Both of these sets share the same braces and greaves, and they actually also share their braces and greaves with the Night Maiden set, which we'll come onto in just a minute. So you should find that by the time you finish your farm, you will have an endless amount of braces and greaves, and it's just the helms and the chest pieces that you will be farming for. So firstly, we'll take a look at the Nox Monk set. This is definitely the most visually different of the 3, though definitely not my favourite. The helm can be altered to remove the hood, and the armour can be altered to remove the cape. And the best place to farm this set is right here in Noxstella, the Eternal City. From the Noxstella Site of Grace, basically just clear all the Nox enemies in the immediate vicinity. You'll find plenty of monks and sorceresses around here. For the monks, 2 can be found in the ruins northwest of the Noxstella Site of Grace, and 2 more can be found in the room locked behind a stone sword key to your left after going up the stairs. All of the armour we'll be collecting from these next few enemies has a 3% drop chance. So in theory, it isn't as tedious as the Octopus Helm. However, as you actually have to fight these enemies, and there are far fewer of them, this could certainly take a lot longer to obtain. And moving on to the Nox Sorceress set, other than the 4 monks I previously mentioned, the rest of the enemies in this area are sorceresses, aside from one Night Maiden up the stairs. As the text on this armour states, These women are the personal guards of the Night Maidens, and the silk hides their eyes. However, you can alter the crown and remove the silk eye covering, flaunting convention. Now that we've covered the personal guards of the Night Maidens, let's move on to the armor set of the Night Maidens themselves. The Night Maiden set is definitely the hardest to obtain of the three, and rightly so, because it indicates the highest clerical rank. The best place to farm for this set is at the Knight's Sacred Ground. Specifically, once you have completed the area and opened all shortcuts, you can go to the Knight's Sacred Ground site of grace at the end of the zone and trace your steps back up the stairs, back into the church with the large sphere silver tier, and there are 2 Night Maiden enemies that you can farm in here. It's a little bit more of a walk than the other Nox enemies, and there are only the 2 of them, which is why this one will take the longest to farm. This one is also the most impressive though, in my opinion, with the twin crown headpiece that the Night Maidens wear. And now that we've covered all 3 armor sets of these Nox enemies, let's take a look at the Black Flame Monk set. This set is tremendously more rare and harder to find and farm than the standard Flame Monk set, owing to the fact that all 4 pieces drop off only 2 specific enemies in the game. You can find one at the bottom of the Divine Tower of Caelid, but my personal choice is here in the Volcano Manor. From the Temple of Igle side of grace, where you defeated the Godskin Noble, head back outside the way you came in, turn left and walk down the stairs, and you'll see a Black Flame Monk at the bottom that you can sneak up and backstab. Personally, the Black Flame Monk set is so much more awesome than the standard Flame Monk set, because it's just so much more intimidating due to the complete absence of colour in this set. And when you read the text and understand the Black Flame Monks, you understand how much more intimidating they are. The Black Flame Monks, enthralled by the god-slaying Black Flame, became traitors, abandoning their posts as guardians. The seduction of a taboo is never easily spurned. This is definitely one of the longest grinds, but if you are a completionist like me and you do love your fashion souls, definitely a set worth grinding. Very, very cool. Now we'll take a look at both versions of the Banished Knight sets. I will be covering both the altered and unaltered versions of this set at the same time, because they are individual pieces. You cannot just alter them with Bok or with your tailoring tools, and the different pieces drop from different enemies. It's not quite as straightforward as you'd imagine, so bear with me and let's go through it together. We'll start off with the normal version of the Banished Knight helm and the altered version of the armor. And that is because the Banished Knight helm only drops from one location in the game, and that is at the Cathedral of the Dragon Communion in Caelid. You'll see one wandering around as soon as you spawn in, and another one standing by the cliff to the west. Farming these 2 is the only way to get this headpiece, and as you're farming them, they also have a chance to drop the Banished Knight armor altered. I'm not even going to bother talking about the gauntlets or the greaves because they all drop the same gauntlets and greaves. So by the time you have finished farming both versions of the helm and both versions of the armor, you will have the greaves and the gauntlets. I'd be incredibly surprised if you didn't. Now, the Banished Knight armor altered can also drop off the Banished Knight in Stormvale Castle in the room with the human limbs hanging from the roof. As you're farming for them too, you can also try and grab yourself the altered version of the Banished Knight helm. This can only drop from one Banished Knight, and he is again in Stormvale Castle, located next to the chapel in the northwest section where Sorcerer Roger is. So once you find him, head back outside again, and you will see the Banished Knight wielding this helm. Finally, I saved the best till last. Best because it definitely looks the best. I love a cape. But also, I was being a little bit sarcastic because this is painfully agonizing to farm. The unaltered version of the Banished Knight armor can only be farmed in Castle Sol. There are 2 here, one to the south and one to the north. I'll be focusing on the northern one because he is way easier to farm in my opinion. Starting from the Castle Sol rooftop grace site, run south to the elevator. Call it up to you so that you can get a better vantage point, but make sure you don't accidentally send it down because you can mess this up. Now you'll see the Banished Knight over there in the distance. Shoot him with a ranged weapon and it will cause him to teleport towards you. Now you can kill him, and when he inevitably doesn't drop it, teleport back to that site of grace and rinse and repeat until he does. Also, I should say, Far, far, far later on in the game, at the Crumbling Farum Azula, is a load more Banished Knights. However, just like the ones at the Cathedral of Dragon Communion, I believe they all drop the altered armor and unaltered helm. Because of the fact that all of the different knights drop different pieces and this cannot be altered by you or Bok, it makes this a painstaking farm. So if you do try and do it, good luck. The unaltered version of the armor looks amazing, but it is a painful farm. Now that you know where to get them, we will move on to the second last armor set, and that is the Fire Prelate set. Just really quickly, I'll show you the altered version of the armor, which isn't adorned with the red cloth. That altered version is dropped by the Fire Prelate found in Fort Live in Mount Gelmir. We won't be focusing on that though, because it just doesn't look as good as with the red tabard. So the full set with the red tabard, the best place to farm it is at the Guardian's Garrison in the mountaintops of the Giants. Just by this site of grace, head towards the garrison, and on the left you will find a Fire Prelate. Once again, all of the drop rates are abysmal, and this is one of the toughest enemies in the game just because they're so damn tanky. So this is definitely a painful one to farm, and personally it's not my favourite. But it is a very rare, very sought after armour, and it would have felt wrong to not include it in this list. So there it is, this is the Fire Prelate set, and that, in my opinion, is the best place to farm it. And whilst we're already in the area for the Fire Prelate set, you can also farm this enemy here in the mountaintops to get your hands on the Thorned Whip. This weapon does have the highest percentage drop chance of any of the weapons on this list, but it literally only drops from this one enemy in the game. So it really can be quite a grind for it to drop, because this Fire Prelate is also very powerful. And as it says, this hefty whip is covered in crimson thorns. It is the weapon of the prelates who lead the fire monks, and is a device of fearsome religious encouragement, fashioned in the image of the Briars of Sin. Now, there is unfortunately not really anything very awesome to shout about when it comes to this whip. Yeah, okay, it's very effective at inflicting blood loss, as it says, but really the reason you're farming for this is purely just for bragging rights to say you have it. I will leave in the fight of me versus the guy who wields it, because the moveset he uses is amazing! I'm so jealous when fighting him, and yeah, I'm super jealous that we don't get any special moveset like the Fire Prelate does. It is quite customizable, as you can change the Ashes of War. It starts off with Kick, which is a very niche but very powerful Ash of War in the right situation. And finally, though not farmable, still very, very missable, we have Dialos's Mask. This is the alternative headpiece for the Knight of Blood's armor set that you get for defeating Juno Hoslo during the Volcano Manor assassinations, though this version of the headpiece is obtained very differently by completing Dialos's questline. I think it's probably one of the longest, most complex, missable questlines in the game, and about the only NPC I haven't specifically covered and given his own video yet. I'm sure many other people have already done that for me, so if you do want this mask, you can go and check out a full guide. I personally don't rate it that highly. I feel like Hoslo's helm looks so much cooler, and wearing this is just kind of bragging rights. You can actually get this really early on by just straight up killing Dialos in the north of Liurnia of the Lakes when you meet him quite early on in his questline. But yeah, there it is, the replica of the twin-tailed silver helm with flowery adornments, only without the twin tails. Nowhere near as badass as the original helm, but still very cool to own. That's all of the armor sets covered, and obviously we've touched on a couple of the weapons, so now let's move into the second half of the video and look at the remaining rarest weapons in Elden Ring. So let's get straight into it as we start off right here in the Dominula Windmill Village. There are actually 3 ultra rare weapons here with a 0.5% chance to drop. I will show you 2 of the 3, being the Celebrant's Rip Rake and the Celebrant's Cleaver. The final one is the Celebrant's Sickle. All 3 of them do basically the same thing. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. None of them have any particularly nifty movesets or awesome Ashes of War. However, they are all upgraded with regular smithing stones and can be infused and buffed as you see fit. So they're very, very versatile. And the awesome feature about all three of these weapons is, as you can see here, every single time you hit an enemy, you gain 10 runes. 10 runes doesn't sound like much, but you do a lot of hitting in this game. So if you somehow luckily manage to farm one of these pretty early on in your playthrough and level it up, then you've got yourself a fairly tasty way of just passively gaining way more runes than usual, especially if you dual wield and power stance the cleavers. Because dual wielding and power stancing axes in this game, they have a pretty awesome moveset. Also, the festival dancers at the village are very easy to kill. So even though the drop count is very low, farm itself is quite painless. Now we'll move on to two of my favourites. I know I should do that stereotypical YouTuber thing of making you wait to the end to see the really juicy ones, but I'm just too nice and too excited to show them off to you. So here is two of my favourites, the Clean Rot Spear and the Halo Scythe. We'll start off with one of my personal favourites, the Halo Scythe, which will drop from any of the lesser Clean Rot Knights wielding the Halo Scythe here in the Aeonian Swamp in Caleb. And that is all of the ones that are walking around. All the ones that are currently hidden underneath the swamp and jump out at you, they're the ones wielding the spear, which we'll come on to in a minute. Firstly, as we're talking about the scythe, just look at the Ash of War. This is so incredibly awesome. It is so badass. Oh my god, I love it so much. The weapon skill, Miquella's Ring of Light, has to be one of my favourite weapon skills in the game. And you can just spam it and spam it and spam it as much as you want. And it has quite a decent range on it as well, along with a hefty amount of damage. There also aren't many sides in the game, so the fact that this is in the scythe weapon category is awesome, and it has inherent blood loss on it as well. And the one other thing to note about this is it actually has anti-block, which I didn't even know was a thing in this game. It will actually deal more damage through blocks than your average weapon, roughly 40% more, with that percentage going up with heavy and charged attacks. And now, the one I'm even more excited about, and the one that was excruciating to farm, the Clean Rot Spear. As I say, this one you can farm from all of the Clean Rot Knights that are currently lying on the ground. There is a collection of them over on the right-hand side, and once you've defeated Commander O'Neill, you can use the Site of Grace where he was to just keep resting there and running south and killing a group of 4 of them nice and quickly. After farming for both of these weapons, I ended up selling all of the duplicates from my inventory. After I had finished farming for these 2 weapons, I ended up with so many duplicates of other items, especially the armor sets. Once I finished acquiring these weapons, I ended up with 16 Clean Rot helms, and also 16 Clean Rot armor. Add to that another 7 Clean Rot gauntlets, followed up by 20 pairs of Clean Rot greaves, and finally 24 Clean Rot Knight swords. I cannot stress how long I have been farming some of these weapons for the purposes of this video. If that ain't worth a like and a subscribe, I don't know what is. And as we're talking about the spear, as you've already seen, its weapon skill, the Sacred Phalanx, I've never know how you pronounce that word. Probably got different pronunciations depending on where you're from. That one. That is just awesome. It does take a while for all of the holy golden spectral spears to appear out of the floor, so it's not going to be super effective against really agile enemies, but it looks so incredibly cool. Also, this spear has a special R2 that it shares only with the short spear. No other spear in the game bar these 2 do that awesome charged double thrust that you see. As we move into the 5th weapon on this list, the Lazuli Glintstone Sword. This one you will find in the Raya Lucaria Academy and drops specifically from Lazuli sorcerers that wield this sword themselves. The easiest one to farm is right by this schoolhouse classroom Site of Grace, which is the enemy we'll be testing the weapon out on. This sword is actually amazing for intelligence-based builds and can be used as an alternative to the Carian Knight Sword if you are going for a pure caster build. The Carian Knight Sword will slightly outperform it if you're going for a hybrid build, however this outperforms if you're going for pure intelligence. Also, its weapon skill, the Glintstone Pebble, is awesome It does exactly what the spell Glintstone Pebble does, but if you then follow up with an additional input, you will thrust forward with the sword, dealing a crazy amount of damage with your Glintstone infused sword. Overall, it's a neat little sword, packs a surprising punch, and it even has a very special, unique heavy attack that can block attacks before the slash comes out. And charging this heavy attack will further extend the time that the weapon blocks before you slash. Just note that despite the way it looks, it doesn't actually utilize your left hand shield during the attack, only the block stats of this weapon apply, which is great because it means you don't need to have a weapon equipped to use it. So it is very versatile, along with being a solid, fast melee option for an intellect build. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the Noble's Slam.
Just one more meal.
Yeah. Feeling too busy to be a good dog parent?
It's like you're in my mind and my living room.
Take a break. Let's put his nose to work. We're going on a safari.
Great. What?
We're going on a safari. Who knows what we'll find? We won't make them feel hurried. We'll let them take their time. Sniffing on a safari is like going to the gym. It's how they see the world. I mean, it's how they breathe it in.
Let him sniff. It's a nose-brainer.
Good, Tom. Nom, 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 nom.
Sword that you see here, and in my other hand, the Noble's Estoc. Both of these swords are dropped from the Wandering Nobles in Limgrave. Obviously, you'll need to kill nobles carrying that weapon for a chance for it to drop. And the drop chance for both of these is absurdly low, something stupid like 0.2. And the armor sets that go along with them are a crazy low drop chance as well. There's nothing too awesome to shout about when it comes to their movesets. One is just a very standard straight sword, and the other is a very standard thrusting sword. It can both be buffed with magic and consumables as much as you want, along with changing the infused Ashes of War as well, so they are completely customizable. And the thing that does make them quite nifty is the fact that they are dipped in gold. This is not just a cosmetic effect, it means that they are one of the most expensive items in the game when it comes to selling them, both selling for 1,000 runes each. And probably your best bet when trying to farm them both is this caravan here, just outside of the Waypoint ruins that I was in at the start of this clip. As you can see, just like with other straight swords and thrusting swords, with the right stats and fully maxed out, they still pack a punch. And even though there's nothing specifically awesome about them when it comes to combat, they're still worth farming, even if just for a cosplay build. Next up, I will meet you at the Crumbling Beast Grave site of Grace in Farum Azula, as we take a look at the Beastman's Curved Sword, and more importantly, the Beastman's Cleaver. We'll look at the curved sword very quickly first, because the cleaver is the more important one. Both of them, as with all weapons in this video, have an insanely low drop rate, and without things like High Arcane, the Silver Tear Scarab, and a Silver Pickled Foulfoot, it is practically impossible to get them. So do make sure you're using them items and you've got the right stats before you try and farm these. That being said, Curved Sword is a lot easier to get, purely because of how many beastmen in this area wield it. The best place, specifically for this one actually, is probably near the Crumbling Beast Grave site of Grace, because there are 7 beastmen carrying this weapon in a few rooms around that grave site. But the reason we're not going to dwell on this weapon any longer is because the Beastman's Cleaver is literally just a straight upgrade on the Curved Sword. The Curved Sword is decent if you're going for a quality build because it has strength and dex scaling, but the dex scaling that it offers is fairly minor. And when you compare it to the Beastman's Cleaver, which is a curved greatsword as opposed to just being a curved sword, the Beastman's Cleaver literally just outclasses it in every single aspect. It has more damage, it has higher scaling, it breaks